This is my journal after much processing since my 3-day, 2-ceremony ayahuasca retreat at the end of September. On Friday, when I first took the medicine, within minutes I had the most beautiful visuals with my eyes closed. I saw geometric shades with purples, blues, yellows, and greens. It was very similar to all the pictures and drawings you see of the people who draw what they see on ayahuasca. When I opened my eyes, the people in the room were sort of cartoon people, very video game-like is the best description I can give. I'm not sure how long that all lasted. It seemed like 10 to 15 minutes. Then, suddenly, it was as though every emotion flooded my whole being, magnified so extremely that I couldn't handle it. I was afraid it was making me insane. It was frightening, visceral, and so powerful. At some point, I fell out of this world or this realm. I could no longer see my own body, this world, or any of the people in the retreat space with me. I couldn't see anything or anyone in this world. I went into a world that looked like a really strange painting world, and it was very frightening. I think that was mostly because it was so extremely bizarre and foreign, like nothing I could ever imagine experiencing as a human. It was so beautiful and odd. I was there for what seemed like a very long time, 18 to 24 hours. This was a time distortion for me since I returned from the other worlds 3.5 hours after drinking the medicine. There were sentient beings who looked like abstract painting people that I could interact with, understand, and talk to. I looked like an abstract painting person, first as a cartoon-like person, with a giant round moon-like head with craters and everything, and then I changed, and my head was a giant round ball, with a really long skinny beak. My body was an overly exaggerated, long skinny string bean-type body. Sometimes my head was sitting beside my body, but this was completely okay, and seemed perfectly normal for there. I remember knowing that I felt sick, not knowing if anyone in this world was putting the bucket near me, and being okay with the fact that I might just be puking all over the floor at the oratory. I was in the other place, trying to figure out what would be the floor or bucket in the real world, and how I could possibly aim or hold anything. I wasn't sure if I had any control over my body back there, and had some odd feelings about why does this matter. I'm in some other world, so it's probably okay. I also wasn't sure if I was alive or dead in this world anymore. I then saw myself as this alien-like creature, a human-sized bat creature, with a rectangle head that was sort of bird-like, but twisted sideways and long the wrong way. I was coming up off of the floor in a dramatic and powerful way, and purging crazily over and over. I felt like I purged so much of the universe out that I no longer existed, which was okay with me. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen or experienced. There were so many swirling colors of pink and blue, and light blue and light green, which was constant while I was gone. I then spent quite a bit of time in this loop of what I would call hell. I was more like my own body or self in some other world, and I kept having a hard time sitting up. I was very afraid during most of this time that I was insane, and had imagined my entire life that my husband, children, friends, family, and everyone were not real, and I was devastated beyond belief. I spent what seemed like an eternity trying to get back to my real life and make sure they were real. I saw and heard so many people who were, and are, important in my life. I was saying their names, mostly my husband and children, but other friends and family members too. I felt like they were all helping me back. They were guiding me back to myself. Not being able to see or feel this world was the oddest feeling ever. I remember when I started coming out, hearing people say this is beautiful, this is beautiful. I think I started to say it out loud too. I think that it was the female facilitators who helped me the most throughout my retreat. I remember coming in and out and seeing the 2 female facilitators helping and holding me. They were telling me that I was safe, that I was okay, and that I was enough. I started saying hi to them and that I was back, because I was so excited that I was back in this world and could see the people and world here again, and knew that my life, husband, children, family, and friends were real. There was a lot of time, or what felt like a lot of time, when I wasn't sure I would ever be back. I was so elated to be back and have been wherever I had gone. I think I'd visited several other realms, dimensions, planes of existence, or worlds. After coming out on the first night, I felt fairly lucid and normal. The hot vegetable soup was amazing, and I had 2 bowls. I woke up the next morning feeling somewhat high, and this feeling lasted all day, up until my second ceremony on Saturday afternoon. I was unsure if I would drink on the second night and thought about it all day. My instinct overpowered my fear, and I decided that afternoon that it was important that I drink and journey again. I needed to continue on this path. I felt called to do so. I spent much of Friday evening thinking that I must be dead. Death seemed to be the only logical explanation for what I was seeing, feeling, experiencing, and doing. Nothing could possibly have prepared me for the extraordinary distortion of reality and self that I embarked on. No other drug or experience has ever come close to what I had with Mother Ayahuasca. I can't adequately express my gratitude and respect for this medicine. I felt very much how ancient and mystical it is, how it has been with the world since the beginning of time and all things. It is sacred, and I feel immeasurable reverence toward this plant. I become emotional just thinking about its power and magic. After speaking with the facilitators and minister at the site, I discovered that it is rare for someone to have the effects as quickly as I did. Some people are sensitive to ayahuasca, and I am one of those people. On the second night, I was given a half dose and had just as fast and intense of a journey that lasted around the same length of being gone from our world, but had much longer lasting residuals. On Saturday night, it was similar in the beginning, as far as the sequence in time, but it wasn't nearly as frightening, and I didn't feel like I was gone for as extremely long as the night before. Very fast effects, within minutes beautiful and amazing visuals. I saw the visuals with my eyes closed and open. This time, my blanket had a pattern coming alive and was more beautiful each time I opened my eyes. I also went to similar realms but didn't seem as distraught or frightened by it. I kept seeing the universe as everything and nothing, and myself and all people as everything and nothing. We are such a tiny blip in the grand scheme of existence in the universe that our entire lives are a mere second. In reality, it's so hard to explain. I was back in the painting worlds and these other realms or other places. At one point, I was lying on the floor, and one of the guides was sitting over me smiling. I had just come back from some place, and he was talking to me. I was telling him that the medicine loved me, and that I loved the medicine. I then felt myself melt completely away. I was over my own body, and could see myself melt into gray matter. Then I was literally gone from existence for quite some time. I remember coming back and forth more that night later on, and once the minister was crouched over me and held one of my hands for a minute, I felt like everything and everyone was the most beautiful and amazing thing ever. And we are. When I came out Saturday night, I felt like it was around the same time frame. It was 3.5 hours after drinking. But Saturday night, I felt really high for the rest of the night and extremely exhausted. On Friday night, I didn't feel extremely high when I came out, but I felt high all day Saturday and all day Sunday. I went back in Monday night when I went to sleep and felt it all day Tuesday. I couldn't even get out of bed sometimes without the help from my husband. I felt normal again Wednesday morning and woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. That was the day I talked to you guys. I pushed through, went ahead and tried to do normal things. Going back into the medicine space on Monday night was such a shock and scared me. I was worried most of the day Tuesday and Thursday, and I thought that maybe I had completely broken my brain by the experience. Luckily I didn't, and I got back to baseline Thursday evening again and have been since. I feel like I have changed into a completely different being since these journeys, and I suppose that was the goal. But most of all, what was so beautiful and amazing about this entire experience was the people there, the other participants, the facilitators, the energy, and the love that took me so far on those journeys. 2 of my newfound friends stayed with me most of Sunday because I couldn't drive home and just needed to be with people. We all started a group text and reached out to one another for support several times in the following days and weeks. Mostly I needed support, and they have been the best about offering it freely. I will never be able to tell you how much them helping me and staying with me throughout the weekend and beyond meant. Thank you for listening.